Welcome and thank you very much for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events. We've got some serious Arctic air coming in, and as I've been telling you on the air the past few days, that's the big story. The secondary story is the snow and the ice. There's two possibilities for that. And while the amounts will be enough to cause slick roads, especially across northern Arkansas, it's nothing that we haven't already experienced. But I don't want to minimize the fact that there's going to be some slick roads come Sunday and maybe even again Wednesday, especially across the north, and then into Thursday. But the big story will be this Arctic air. Remember the 3 Ps: pets, pipes, and people. Not necessarily in that order. The other thing I've been talking about, ponds. I've already seen creeks frozen over. And with this Arctic air coming in, they're going to freeze even further. How thick is that ice? I don't know. Kids love to play on it. I know I did as a kid. And I remember many, many years ago when we had a major Arctic outbreak, there was an issue with kids playing on the ice, falling through, and hypothermia setting in. And it can be deadly. So just, I don't want to sit here and tell you what to do. I just want to say, hey, you might want to think about that and tell your kids. Not a good idea. I know a lot of kids like to do that type of thing. But I've got a very important video here that takes you through everything with what we're expecting as far as the headlines for the next several days. I've got the SchoolCon Index here I'm going to show you that was done Friday. I'll have it updated throughout the weekend for you. And I'm going to show you the European model data. It has been very consistent and I think steady as she goes. I will show you where I think it may be an error. Nothing is set in stone. And so with that, I've already talked way enough, but again, thanks for coming here to get your weather information, and I'm going to keep you updated as best I can. So let's get right into everything we need to talk about right now. So here are the kind of the highlights for the up-and-coming cold spell that's going to last about 3 days. We're talking about Sunday, light snow, maybe some moderate snow even in north central Arkansas. And mainly, again, northern Arkansas that's going to see the accumulating amounts, although I cannot rule out some snow even into central Arkansas, maybe even to western areas of the state as well. But by far, the heaviest amounts are going to be across the north. The big stories we've been telling you, it's the cold, high temperatures and the bitterly cold wind chills. If the temperatures on Monday, and there's an outside chance of this, let's just say the high temperature on Monday does not get out of the teens, it stays in the teens. That would mean that we would have the coldest high temperatures since 1989. That was in December of 1989. Otherwise, we're talking about highs in the low 20s, lows well into the teens. Now, if we drop into the single digits, it'll be the first time that we have low temperatures in the single digits since February of 1996. Wind chill values across northern Arkansas easily 10, maybe 15 degrees below zero. I fully anticipate wind chill advisories that will be issued. And 0 wind chill values easily central, maybe even into southern Arkansas. This is going to be a harsh round of Arctic air that will last for, again, about 3 days. And this is as of Friday. Very preliminary. The SchoolCon Index, this I give credit where credit's due. I don't take ideas and just go out there with them. This is from Scott Inman. He helped come up with this, and I give him 95% of the credit for coming up with this. But this is Monday. I remember I do not close schools, but this is based on my experience of growing up here in Arkansas, knowing what it takes for school administrators, and then also looking at the data and figuring out what's going on. And I apply that and put it into my own opinion with the SchoolCon Index. 0 to 10, this is as of Friday. 0 means likely school will be open. 10 means the closer you get to 10, school likely will be closed. So again, it's this area across northern Arkansas. I would give it a 5, and I might even up this area now a little bit more, 6 or 7. A 3, I would continue to go with that here, and through central Arkansas, a 2. Do your homework, bottom line. And we'll see how that plays out during the weekend. Let's go to the European model via the weatherbell.com site. These are what we call a snapshot 2-meter temperatures at certain time periods, and let's just go straight into when the front comes through. Right, you can see the front. This is at midnight, already making inroads into northwest Arkansas, getting ready to move. That we got some warming ahead of it at midnight on Sunday. This is again the Arctic boundary coming into the state at 6 a.m. on Sunday. Sometimes Arctic air is a lot stronger and faster. So if anything, the Arctic air may be a little bit more into central Arkansas at this time. But you're talking about lower 20s across northwest Arkansas to near 50 degrees And I would guess that this area of the state may actually be in the teens at this point in time, and this is around 50. So there's going to be a huge temperature contrast on Sunday morning. There will be a wave of low pressure along this boundary, and that's what's going to produce the snowfall in this section. If you're going to Missouri, I anticipate some horrible driving conditions and dangerous wind chill factors. This is at noon, so temperatures are dropping Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. At noon, we are at 31 degrees in Little Rock, and by 6 p.m. Sunday, we're in the mid and upper 20s, already well into the teens across northern Arkansas, dropping across the south. Monday morning, actual air temperatures. Now, this is where the European actually sees snow cover on the ground. And where it sees snow cover on the ground, it has had a tendency this winter season, where it sees that snow, to overdo the cooling. But it does show you where it sees the snow. We'll see if this happens. It's got it at 4 below zero in Harrison, 9 below zero out here in south central Missouri. It's got it here in the mid and upper teens by Monday morning with wind chill values a lot colder than that, and I'll show you. So this is within the realm of possibility, but just know that in past events, it has overdone the cooling where it sees the snow. Noon, this is noon on Monday, and it has the Little Rock at 22 degrees. I'll say that again. Noon Monday, 22 degrees. At noon Monday, it's in the single digits still in northern Arkansas. Wait until you see the wind chill values. This is just absolutely incredible stuff. By Tuesday morning, we're talking about mid and upper teens again, and we slowly start to come out of this. This is Wednesday, late in the day. Ooh, go back, Todd. There's going to be some light precipitation coming up from the north. And you notice here that the European model has got us at 32 here, 32, 31, 31, 32, 33, 32. Cold Arctic air, it's heavy, it's dense, and it's tough to scour out. So if there is an error with this model, and some people just look at a run of the model and run with it. No pun intended, actually, yeah. They run with the latest run. I look at it and say, okay, what could be wrong with this? And I think if there's anything wrong with this, it's that it's warming the temperatures up too quickly. You have this strong Arctic air mass in place and the warm air aloft overriding it. And I think you have an icing situation, especially across central northern Arkansas. Right now, this just shows this area of the state along north of that getting icing. I think it could be a little bit more extensive. We have plenty of time to fine-tune this as we go into the future. So just keep checking back. All right, let's go to those wind chill values. This is the wind chill value. Let's go into Monday morning. Monday morning wind chill values. It's got it at 6. I fully expect this area of the state to be under a wind chill advisory, something like this. But it's got wind chill values of 8 to 11 to 17 to 10 to 12 degrees below zero. And over here, I think it's overdoing this, but southern Missouri, close to 40 degrees below zero. I mean, that's... Anyway. Tuesday morning, wind chill values are not quite as cold, single digits to teens, but that's still just, my gosh. All right, this is the possible snow according to the European model. This takes us into Monday morning, and again, this is the area of the state that I highlighted for the SchoolCon index, and especially in this corridor here. It's indicating the European 1 to 3 inches of snow across this section of the state. South of that, a dusting to an inch, I would say. This can obviously change early in the ball game. But look what it does here. Let me go back to that. Look what it does here going into that system by midweek. It expands the snowfields just a little bit across northern Arkansas. All right, precipitation. I'm going to get past this first event and take you to the midweek. I'm not backing off on this just yet. The models have it on the intensity of the precipitation and the temperatures. It's warming them up. I'm not going to change what I've been saying until we get closer to that time period and I see more evidence if there's more consistency with the models. But this blue line is the 32-degree line. Notice how that's still trapped over the mountains. I think it's possible that it's a little bit further south. That's late Wednesday. You see light precipitation, so some light icing there in north central Arkansas. And this is by Thursday night, and this is by Thursday morning. And it's got the 32-degree line way north. I think it could be an error. I really do. I think northern Arkansas here, at least by Thursday morning, could still be dealing with some icing while the rest of the state has some plain rain. It's Friday. This is about a week away, so you can tell that this is going to change. But the bottom line here is get ready for a cold wave of air. With the biggest story will be the cold air. The secondary story is the snow on Sunday, targeting northern Arkansas for the heaviest amounts. Now, not ruling out snow in central Arkansas, dusting. that also, again, not set in stone, but this is going to be a 3-day punch of Arctic air that's out of here. Eventually, we'll begin to warm up. I can't thank you enough. Thanks for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog here at KATV.com. We are your ticket to big weather events.